The storm howled that night along the Mississippi River, when Maya gave birth to twins with eyes sparkling like alluvial gems, curse or blessing. The community recoiled in fear, pushing mother and children to the brink of despair. But from the black depths of the water, Theira, the river's mermaid, rose with a faint green glow, revealing a shocking secret. The twins were not merely human, but children of the river god, born to balance life and death. In the raging flood, it was the light of the Mississippi that banished the darkness, restoring peace to the village. Now, as superstitions fade, an ancient prophecy echoes. The real challenge has yet to begin. Are you ready to explore the next chapter? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to follow part 2, where the mysteries beneath the river's depths will be unveiled. Once upon a time, along the lyrical and mighty Mississippi River, the small village of Memphis nestled quietly under the shade of ancient trees and the thin mist that carried the scent of silt each night. Simple thatched roofs seemed to breathe with the rhythm of waves lapping against sandy shores, carrying the tales of ancestors. The people here lived in harmony, tending to rows of corn and bean fields, but their eyes always held a trace of unease, for at night the river's murmurs echoed stories of a supernatural force. They said that beneath the inky black waters, Theira, the mermaid goddess of forgotten souls, silently kept watch, reminding people to recall memories lost to time. Maya was born and raised amid this natural tapestry. From her first steps, she was deeply tied to the river's gentle ripples and the radiant glow of moonlight on water. In the stillness, the moon's reflection on the waves was like a dear friend, whispering strange dreams to her. Slender and graceful, Maya's warm brown skin glowed with gentleness, her eyes brimming with emotion. When her mother passed, she inherited a plot by the riverbank, a place her ancestors had reclaimed and nurtured, building a sustainable life for the community. But that happiness grew heavy when her stepfather, Clyde, entered the picture. Clyde arrived with a charming smile, eagerly promising to care for the family and bring prosperity. Tall and imposing, he moved with authority, his cold eyes sharp as razors under thick brows. His daytime kindness gradually revealed darker schemes as night fell. Each evening, Clyde secretly sought out shamans, chasing the cursed magic of the river. A mysterious power passed down through generations. He harbored a plan to eliminate Maya, orchestrating a tragedy to seize the land and inheritance she held. As time passed, Maya sensed something unusual in her body. A mix of joy and anxiety enveloped her when she learned she was pregnant with twins. These two tiny souls, according to legend, were gifts from the river itself, embodiments of hope and a curse. Hearing the roar of waves on stormy nights, Maya stood still, feeling the warmth of the lives growing within her. But at that moment, Clyde saw his chance to act. He crept to the riverbank, praying under pale moonlight, beseeching dark forces for aid. He cast a curse, hoping the twins would be born monstrous, terrifying the village and making it easy to drive Maya and her children from their peaceful life. The night the twins were born was one of ferocious storms. Thunder and lightning raged, and river waves crashed ashore as if to swallow everything. In a thatched room, Maya huddled, her hair drenched with sweat, her trembling hands cradling the newborns. She whispered soft lullabies, though their eyes, gleaming like pearls in the dark, pierced her heart with both awe and pain. Those eyes, crystalline yet radiant, were both a blessing and a curse. Their cries drowned out the pouring rain, as if the infants carried a desperate plea. The village buzzed with rumors, gathering outside her home, whispering that Maya had sold her soul to demons, letting dark magic seep into her children's blood. They murmured, "Eyes like that must be the curse of the Mississippi." From wary glances to outright rejection, Maya felt herself sinking into a pit of despair. But Maya's heart had no room for surrender. Though the entire village turned against her, calling her the monster's mother, she smiled through the darkness, cradling her children, determined to uncover the truth. By day, she tended to the twins, soothing their cries and whispering tales of the mythical river. By night, she slipped to the sandy shore, offering flower wreaths and burning incense to pray to Theira, the mermaid goddess, for clarity. The incense flame flickered in the wind, its smoke curling among drooping trees, as if linking her to the world beneath the river. On a moonless night, with no stars in the sky, Maya stood alone on the wooden dock, the waves lapping gently. Suddenly, the water shimmered, a faint green glow startling her. Theira appeared, half human, half fish, her sleek black hair blending with the water, her eyes deep as if holding millennia of sorrow and hope. She spoke no words, but emotions flooded Maya's soul. With a gentle gesture, Theira led her to dive to the river's depths, to an ancient moss-covered temple, the keeper of the Mississippi's magical secrets. The temple glowed with an ethereal green light, its stone walls carved with tales of great floods, divine fish, and ancient spirits. At its center, a river gem rested on a stone pedestal, radiating power. Maya touched it, feeling an icy current flow through her hand, as if drawing out every painful memory. In a flash, the past unfolded. Images of Clyde secretly poisoning her mother, the ill-fated woman sinking into the river's dark embrace. All his crimes lay bare, but Maya felt her strength wane, as if her life force was draining. Back on land, Maya knew she had to act fast. Rumors of magic grew, and the village clamored to exile her and her children. Clyde, sensing Maya was close to exposing him, ignited a flood by invoking dark spirits. The waters surged, toppling fences and threatening to sweep the village away. In the chaos, Maya led her twins to the temple, where Theira awaited. The mermaid guided her to awaken the magic in her children's blood. A power to control water, but only if the community believed in maternal love and noble sacrifice. The final battle erupted amid the raging river. Clyde charged in, clutching a dark magic tome, summoning shadowy apparitions of past victims. These eerie figures loomed in the stormy night, rushing toward Maya and her children. But then, Theira's voice rang out like a sacred bell, calling forth the soul of Clyde's first wife, murdered long ago. In a faint green light, the woman's spirit appeared, her eyes filled with vengeance, enveloping Clyde in terror. Amid the chaos, Maya placed all her faith in her children. The twins' eyes blazed like twin pearls, their light spreading across the water, calming the furious waves. The flood subsided, and the village steadied. The people witnessing the miracle stood awestruck by a power beyond imagination. Clyde, screaming in despair, was swept away by the current, vanishing into the river's depths, ending his reign of evil. As dawn broke, the twins were hailed as the light of the Mississippi, symbols of hope and rebirth. The villagers knelt before Maya, humbly apologizing for shunning her. She lifted her children high, her eyes brimming with pride. Theira appeared one last time, her smile tinged with sadness, but full of solace. She whispered that the trials weren't over, that an ancient prophecy foretold a greater enemy stirring in the river's heart. But with unwavering maternal love and the strength of forgotten souls, Maya believed she could protect her children and community. The village returned to the sound of children's laughter and the gentle lapping of waves. The story of Maya, the twins, and Theira spread across the American South, becoming a legend through generations. They sang of the nighttime mermaid, spoke of the steadfast mother who faced darkness to reclaim light. And in the crystal-clear night sky, as the moon rose, the Mississippi seemed to hum an immortal song of faith, sacrifice, and a mother's love that triumphed over any curse. Maya grew up on the banks of the Mississippi River, where silt-laden breezes softly whispered ancient tales. From her childhood, she tread lightly on paths strewn with golden leaves, her amber hair shimmering under the sun's rays. The villagers called her by fond names, Maya of the River, the Belle of the Silt, for her gentle beauty, like wildflowers blooming along the shore, and her kind heart, always turned toward those in need. Each morning, Maya handed out packets of bread to orphaned children. Each afternoon, she quietly brought medicine to the homes of the sick and elderly. Her eyes sparkled with empathy, her smile a ray of sunshine dispelling sorrow. The family's thatched home stood on a wide plot stretching to the water's edge. For generations, Maya's ancestors had tamed this land, raising lush rows of corn, black bean gardens heavy with pods, and well-fed livestock. Though poor, they built a resilient community, sharing every grain of rice, every drop of water. Maya absorbed a deep love for the land and river. The dawn calls of birds, the rhythmic lapping of waves, became the heartbeat in her chest. When her mother drew her final breath, her silhouette lying in a dew-soaked field left Maya stunned, her mother's lips curved in a smile, urging her to live as a worthy heir. Before closing her eyes, her mother gently placed a hand on Maya's warm belly, as if entrusting her soul to it. From that moment, Maya understood the weight of her responsibility. Not long after, Clyde's figure appeared in their small home. At their first meeting, he clasped Maya's hand with apparent warmth, his lips brimming with promises of a bright future. Tall and upright, Clyde carried himself with authority, but his icy, steel-like eyes betrayed a sinister nature. He swiftly took control, vowing to protect Maya and the family's estate in place of her late father. At first, the village rejoiced. Maya, a solitary young woman, now had a man to lean on, and the family wouldn't be alone. They toasted, offered drinks, and overlooked the calculating glint behind his false smile. He held the deed, the seals, negotiated loans for Maya, paid off neighbours' debts, and appeared generous while polishing his reputation. Gradually, Maya saw that Clyde's steps weren't protective, but predatory. He usurped farming rights, dictating which crops to plant and who reaped the harvest. The vast land shrank under his manipulative grip, and the community's hopes grew fragile. In the long nights, as wind whistled through the window, Maya felt her heart tighten at strange sounds. Clyde's footsteps pacing the hall, his mocking laugh echoing in the dark. Then, Maya discovered she was pregnant. Joy bloomed like a spring magnolia after a long winter. Two tiny souls intertwined with her heart, bringing hope for the future. She quietly shared the moment with her mother, though she knew her mother rested beneath the earth. Maya touched her belly, whispering blessings for the twins, believing the river would bestow its grace on children of its silt-born blood. Moonlight cast her shadow on the water's edge as if smiling in celebration. But Clyde saw his final opportunity in Maya's radiant face. He schemed silently. If the twins were born with an unusual mark, the village would panic, driving Maya to ruin, leaving him to claim everything. In the dead of night, he approached the village elders, keepers of the Mississippi's river magic rituals. They told him of ancient curses, spells that could command the waters and mark a child with eyes gleaming like moonlight on the river. Clyde coaxed and bribed, promising riches, until they revealed the ritual's method. Clyde followed their instructions. By flickering lamplight, he placed a bowl of river water under the full moon, dropping in herbs and torn cloth as an offering to unseen forces. He muttered ancient incantations, willing the newborns to emerge strange. A dark aura crept through the shadows, chilling the night breeze. A cold streak of light flashed across the water, then vanished. Clyde smiled, satisfied, believing his plot had succeeded. The village woke serene the next morning, unaware, but Maya quietly sensed something amiss within her. Though her belly grew, she felt an unusual fatigue. Her eyes turned to the river, seeking comfort, but saw only its glassy surface, guarding the secrets of the previous night. Her heart grew heavy, a premonition warning of an approaching storm. When the time came, Maya held fast to her faith in nature's miracles. She sat on a wooden bed, morning light streaming through the window, glinting on her sweat-dampened hair. Outside, distant thunder rumbled, heralding a storm. As the twins were born, their first cries weren't wails of sorrow, but a resonant, aching echo of the river. Maya clutched the infants to her chest, startled when their eyes gleamed pearl-like, sparkling as if reflecting moonlight. She felt the hot rush of maternal love mingle with fear. Those eyes, unlike any seen before, held the river's mysterious power. Hearing shouts, The villagers rushed over. They muttered, huddling together, terrified by the strange eyes. Smoke from kitchen fires curled upward, clouding their view. Rumors spread like wildfire. "They're monsters of the Mississippi! Maya must have sold her soul!" Faces shifted from awe to judgment, then to rejection. Maya's heart shattered, but her gaze burned with resolve to protect her children. She soothed the infants, whispering warm lullabies, though her hands trembled like leaves in the wind. She vowed to them that a mother's love would shield them from any hardship, that every curse could be undone by love. In her utter loneliness, Maya lit incense at her doorstep, praying to Theira, the mermaid goddess, for the truth to be revealed. The scent of sandalwood drifted through the dry air, gently enveloping the twins like an invisible shield. The Mississippi still churned by the shore, carrying its sacred songs. Maya knew she had to rise, to confront Clyde's shadow and the village's harsh whispers. Since her mother's death, she'd prayed for her spirit to guide her. Now she understood. No force was greater than a mother's love and the quest for justice. The sky loomed dark, promising rain and a long battle ahead. But in her heart, a flame of hope blazed, guiding those strange-eyed infants through prejudice and curses. For somewhere beneath those inky waters, Theira watched, ready to grant her the strength of the Mississippi's bloodline. The twins were born on a stormy night when the Mississippi River roared as if to tear the sky apart. Thunder echoed through the air, jagged white lightning bolts flashing above, illuminating the moment two fated souls first opened their eyes to the world. Maya knelt by a creaky wooden bed, her clothes soaked with sweat, her arms tightly cradling the newborns. The boy opened his eyes first, his pupils shimmering like green pearls in the darkness. Then the girl, her eyes gleaming with the same haunting radiance. That soft, ethereal glow wasn't like the calm moonlight often mirrored on the river's surface. It was vivid, mesmerizing, as if heralding an unprecedented event. The twins' first cries weren't joyful welcomes to life, but resonant wails echoing from the river's depths, evoking legends of Theira, the mermaid goddess who protects forgotten souls. Maya held them close, her heart nearly breaking. She pressed their soft cheeks to her chest, drawing comfort from their warm breaths to steady herself. But the sound of villagers' footsteps soon approached. At the doorway, hurried silhouettes loomed, distorted in the dim lamplight. They gathered, whispering, their eyes sharp with judgment and contempt. They called the twins monsters, omens cursed by the river. They said, "Eyes like those can only be the mark of dark magic." Rumors spread like a gale. The children bore a curse from the river's depths, embodiments of unavenged spirits. Some shrank back in fear, others sneered, spitting accusations. Maya must have walked a sinful path to birth these creatures. Their voices stabbed at her ears, sharp as knives. "They're monsters, and she's the mother of monsters!" Those gazes choked Maya's heart. She looked at her children, beings just beginning their journey, eyes still brimming with innocence and mystery. She knew Clyde was behind it all, the venomous schemer who'd sparked this curse. But she had no proof, only a tight knot of intuition. Part of her fought back tears to find strength for her twins, part burned with resolve not to let rumors shake her faith. As the crowd dispersed, leaving only Maya and the patter of rain on the thatched roof, she hurried the twins to bed, wrapping them in a blanket and whispering, "I'll protect you," no matter the scorn they heap. The river roared outside the window, as if witnessing her vow of sacrifice. She gently stroked their fragile hair, feeling their tiny bodies tremble under her touch. The next day, the rumors grew thicker. Villagers avoided Maya, children wailed at the sight of her twins, elders shook their heads and turned away. Whispers outside her home seeped through the leaves, bringing an overwhelming loneliness. At night, Maya slipped to the riverbank, placing the twins in a wooden basket by the boat's edge, and prayed to Theira, the water's goddess, for truth. The river's mist embraced her, its waves lapping as if to soothe. Each night as the village fell silent under darkness, Maya brought her children to the sandy shore, sitting before the mysterious waters. She closed her eyes, listening to the rhythmic flow, whispering, "Theira, Please show this mother the way. Help me save my children from a grim fate." The scent of incense curled through the air, cooling the sweat on her brow. Sometimes she wondered if prayers could rouse a goddess silent for centuries. Suddenly, on a moonless night, with only the mournful chirp of crickets and the gentle lapping of waves, the wind shifted, carrying a chill mist. Maya opened her eyes to see the water faintly glowing with an ethereal green. From the river's depths, a figure flickered, her long hair flowing like silk, her eyes deep with 1,000 years of emotion. Theira appeared, silent, but her presence stilled the air. Maya's heart surged, knowing she wasn't alone. The next day, Maya sought sacred traces in the village, the ancient riverside shrine where elders once worshipped Theira. By dim lamplight, she pored over tattered parchment, records of river magic rituals. She learned to mix herbs steeped in water, chant prayers, and craft protective circles from silt. Resolve flared within her. She'd use the river's own power to break the curse and expose the schemer. Maya knew the path was perilous, but with unmatched maternal love, she'd risk her life before retreating. Step by step, she prepared the ritual, setting a bowl of river water on a makeshift altar under her porch, placing a round crystal gem left by her mother at its center, incense smoke swirling. In the quiet night, the twins slept, their pearl-like eyes faintly visible beneath thin skin. Maya placed her hands on their foreheads, whispering a prayer, "Help me fight the darkness, for I believe love will conquer all." A drop of water from her hand fell into the bowl, rippling its surface. The river's magic slowly seeped in, gentle as if beckoned. The village remained shrouded in superstitious fog, but Maya no longer feared. She'd found light beneath the dark waters, the light of faith in maternal love and the Mississippi's magic. Theira, the enigmatic mermaid, watched her every step, ready to aid the courageous mother, and in Maya's heart, a flame of hope burned like a small ember in the long night, affirming that no curse was strong enough to defeat true love. The moonless night enveloped the village by the Mississippi's banks, leaving only the river's murmurs like ancient whispers. Maya sat alone on the wooden dock, her arms tightly cradling the sleeping twins wrapped in a thin blanket. The silence was so profound that everyday sounds, crickets, rustling leaves, seemed to hold their breath. Suddenly, the water shimmered with a streak of emerald light. From the river's depths, a delicate figure emerged, revealing long, glossy black hair that flowed like silk over the waves, each strand glinting with flecks of stardust. Those eyes, deep, glistening with boundless melancholy, met Maya's startled gaze. For a moment, she thought she was seeing a strange dream, but the gentle lapping of waves and the damp breath on her skin confirmed it was real. Theira needed no greeting, silently rising from the water, her form, half mermaid, half woman, like a living myth carved from legend. The water curved with her every movement, forming a faint, ethereal halo. Maya felt her presence as both intimate and distant, like a vow faded by 1,000 years. In the dim light, Theira began to speak, her voice like waves kissing the shore. Clyde, the man who posed as a caring stepfather, had committed heinous crimes. He had taken the life of his first wife, a wealthy woman, to seize her fortune. Her soul, unable to find peace, lay trapped in the river's depths, where the faint breath of silt buried countless injustices. Theira, guardian of lost spirits, had witnessed crimes that the river's tears couldn't wash away. Her voice echoed through the night, stirring in Maya a mix of sorrow and rage. She knew Clyde was vile, but never imagined he'd killed to steal wealth. For the first time, Maya's legs felt weak, her heart trembling at the horrific truth. Theira extended a pearlescent hand toward her, inviting her to descend to the river's bottom, to an ancient temple where the curse could be undone. Maya, though her heart pounded, gently placed her sleeping twins in a wicker basket, lifted it to her shoulder, and followed the mermaid into the icy waters. The river's depths opened like a gateway to another world. Green rays emanated from moss-covered stones, painting an enchanted scene beneath the water. The riverbed became a corridor leading to a sacred temple, built from massive stone slabs etched with images of river gods. The silent god, the storm god, the silt god, and the god of souls. The scenery shimmered with every ripple, overwhelming Maya but spurring her forward. Theira, solemn, guided her through each shrine where reliefs recounted myths of the river's benevolence and its wrath toward betrayers. At the heart of the highest chamber, on a round stone pedestal, the river gem rested, refracting cold light like the eye of an ancient deity. Theira stressed that this gem held primal power. Touching it, Maya would see every hidden truth, but the cost might be her life. Her words glistened in the damp air, pressing the weight of destiny onto Maya's shoulders. Though her heart churned, maternal love guided her. Maya stepped forward slowly, her trembling hands rising, her index finger grazing the gem's surface. Instantly, a surge of green light erupted, weaving through the stone in radiant threads. Maya reeled as the past unfolded before her. Every moment of Clyde's honeyed words, his clumsy smile masking deceit. Then came the image of his first wife, her face haggard, her voice pleading in prayer, before being pushed into the freezing water. All his crimes, lies, malice, and inflicted pain lay bare. Maya's heart constricted, tears mingling with crystalline drops from the river gem, carrying boundless grief. But the magic didn't just reveal truth. It drained the life of its toucher. Maya felt her limbs numb, her breath quicken, as if gravity had abandoned her. She swayed, her vision blurring, yet clung to the gem. Theira appeared beside her, her pearlescent hand gently lifting Maya, a warm current flowing into her body. "You've seen the truth," Theira's voice echoed softly. "But you must face the final trial. Bring hope to wronged souls and protect your twins' future." With a wave, she let the gem fall into Maya's hands, its green light softening, no longer blinding. Maya resurfaced, emerging from the river, clutching the gem and a newfound resolve. Though her body was frail, her legs unsteady, a fire of determination blazed in her heart. She held the truth of Clyde's crimes, undeniable proof to expose his darkness. She also understood the gem's power could not only unveil the past, but restore justice and light the way forward. As dawn broke, Selena, the village's dawn goddess, seemed to awaken by the river. Maya sat panting on the dock, cradling her still sleeping twins. The infants rested peacefully, unaware of the supernatural journey just taken. She kissed their foreheads, whispering a vow. "I won't let dark spirits dim your light." The morning sun traced shimmering streaks across the water like Theira's blessing. Maya knew the trials were far from over, but with the mermaid's support and her unshakable maternal love, she was ready to face any adversity to protect her children and seek justice for the forgotten souls beneath the Mississippi. Tension in the village reached its peak as rumors about Maya spread through every alley. In the misty mornings, elders gathered in clusters on porches, whispering that Maya had struck a deal with demons, selling her soul to birth twins bearing a curse. The murmurs grew into calls for exile. Drive them out before the curse destroys us all. Faces once familiar now wore scowls, their eyes cold and isolating. Children who once played gleefully at her doorstep now hid behind their mothers, wailing at the sight of the twins' glowing eyes. Maya heard every curse, each word piercing her heart, yet a fire of resolve blazed within her. She knew hesitation would doom her family. In the still of night, after lulling her twins to sleep, she packed a thin blanket, a wicker basket, and the river gem, the sole proof of Clyde's crimes, now her hope to expose him. Under pale moonlight, Maya slipped out of her thatched home, her footsteps soft on the rotting wooden bridge. The dim glow of oil lamps from homes along the riverbank wasn't enough to deter her. She reached the old dock where the hidden temple lay submerged in silty waters. Moss clung to stone steps, and images of river gods faintly emerged as she parted the inky water. Before diving, she raised the river gem, whispering a prayer. "Theira, guide me. Grant me strength to protect my little ones." The scent of incense mingled with the icy mist, wrapping around her as if answering her call. Beneath the river, a mystical realm unfolded, faint green rays from stone walls illuminating the underwater corridor. Maya stepped onto fine sand, the sound of dripping water echoing like ancient bells. Theira appeared beside her, her black hair cascading over bare shoulders, her eyes tender yet powerful. She glided, leading Maya to a small altar adorned with a bowl of river water, silt-soaked leaves, and a cluster of ancient shells. Theira revealed the ritual. A single tear from Maya mixed into the bowl, a focused prayer and a protective circle drawn on the infants' foreheads. Maya scooped river water into the bowl, her hands trembling as she touched the small gem Theira offered. She prayed, tears streaming, her pain and boundless love for her children laid bare. The earthy scent of silt and incense blended, and moments later, the bowl glowed faintly. Theira nodded, placing a hand on Maya's shoulder, channeling a pulse of divine strength. Maya hurried to her twins, cradling them, and traced the protective circle on their foreheads, beseeching the river's guardianship. But Clyde, with stealthy steps, had trailed her from the shore. He lurked outside, his dark hat shielding his face, his eyes burning as he watched the ritual. Unable to contain his greed, he sneered, "You think that power can save those wretched kids?" His mocking laugh rang out and he brandished an old leather book, invoking dark spells. Waving a talisman, he summoned a surge of black mist that roiled the river's surface, turning calm waters into a raging torrent. Waves from upstream roared, slamming toward the village. The hidden temple trembled, stones loosening from the walls, falling to the sandy floor with chilling echoes. Theira stirred, her face stern, raising a hand to resist, but she couldn't fully counter Clyde's dark magic. Maya, caught between light and darkness, clutched her twins, feeling the water tighten around her. She rose, summoning all her strength, shouting, "Clyde! You can't drown hope!" Her hoarse voice reverberated in the temple, defying his sinister power. Lightning bolts struck the water, casting eerie silver streaks. Theira wove river magic, targeting the dark mist, but each effort drained her. Maya knew she had to confront Clyde directly. Through drizzling rain and swirling silt, she waded with her twins toward the shore, the rising water lapping at her. Clyde taunted, turning his back, chanting, "Oh flood, swallow this place! Sweep away this filth!" The water, as if alive, surged toward the dock, threatening to engulf the village. Maya, holding her breath, hurled the river gem at Clyde. A green flash erupted as it hit the ground, spreading across the water, slowly pushing the flood back. Clyde stumbled, falling face first into the mud, his screams piercing the storm. He scrambled up, grabbing the gem, but it was scratched and cracked, its light fading. Clyde felt the dark magic abandon him, the black mist dissolving with the morning's first drops. The waves calmed, their roar softening to a gentle ripple, blending with the village's collective breath. Maya collapsed on the dock, her heart pounding, her body exhausted, but her mind clear. She knew she'd won this first battle, but the line between life and death remained fragile. Under the glow of oil lamps from villagers rushing to see the flood recede, their faces showed awe and a hint of remorse. They looked at Maya differently, no longer with blame, but with dawning recognition of her courage and maternal love. The damp scent of earth rose, a reminder of the Mississippi's power. Maya held her twins close, whispering a warm lullaby. She knew the wicker basket would witness more battles, but tonight she'd saved her children and the village from destruction. Theira appeared briefly on the water's surface, her eyes filled with gratitude, then faded into the gentle waves. The villagers' clamour mixed with the lapping waves like a heartbeat for a new chapter. Maya, though drained, felt hope flare fiercely. She vowed to wield river magic, blending maternal love and divine strength to safeguard the community and her twins' future. As the moon peeked through, the Mississippi grew serene, as if rejoicing in the triumph of love and justice. In the somber stillness of the ancient temple beneath the river, the salty mist mingled with a faint green glow, as Maya and Clyde faced each other on the slick stone floor. Under the eerie light filtering through mossy walls, their shadows cast sharp, chilling outlines. Clyde, the treacherous man disguised as a caring stepfather, now stood with a pale face, his eyes blazing with hatred. He strode toward Maya, his lips twisting into a distorted smile, his hand clutching a dark spellbook, the source of his cruel curses. In an instant, Clyde raised his hand to the sky, muttering ancient words. Demonic symbols rose in smoky tendrils, blending with the mist rising from the stone. The air grew heavy, trembling with the rhythm of his incantation. From cracks in the temple walls, shadowy forms stirred, materializing as grotesque, writhing figures. These were wronged souls, tormented in the underworld, now summoned from the Mississippi's depths. They hovered in the air like dark clouds, their sunken eyes hollow, jagged teeth bared, and skeletal hands reaching as if to grasp at living flesh. Maya, though her heart pounded, stood firm. She felt the bone-chilling cold of the malevolent aura coiling around her, soaking her thin dress with dew. In that moment, Theira, the enigmatic mermaid, silently appeared beside her. Green light shimmered from her flowing hair, her face etched with centuries-deep sorrow. Without words, she waved her hand, stirring the crystalline water around a stone altar, forming a fragile protective shield. Tiny waves lapped at its edges, murmuring gentle encouragement. Clyde's voice rose, mocking, "Maya, you believe in your foolish dreams? Let me show you true power." With that, he flung open the spellbook, and from the ground, the souls of those he'd wronged, including his wealthy first wife, emerged. The delicate figure of the woman, her face shadowed with melancholy, turned her dull eyes toward Clyde, as if accusing and pleading. Other spirits, victims of his dark ambition, encircled him, their eerie wails echoing, bony hands clawing the air, laden with accumulated hatred. The space seemed to quake with their anguished cries. Thelira's faint green light clashed with the dark haze of the curse, sparking an anxious purple glow. Maya's heart tightened as the first wife's spirit appeared, not blaming her, but fixing Clyde with a vengeful stare, her face as grim as a stone sunk in the river's depths. He froze, his eyes flashing fear for the first time, but quickly his dark pride resurfaced, replaced by a sinister grin. Theira reached out her pearlescent hand, touching Maya's shoulder, infusing her with warm vitality. From within, Maya felt a new strength surge, and the river gem she carried, an oval crystal still radiant with wondrous green, glowed brighter. Maya's lips curved, and she stepped toward the altar, raising the gem to her forehead. Its intricate veins seemed to channel the Mississippi's power, illuminating the temple, dispelling some of the grotesque spirits. The moment the gem touched her chest, a vibrant green shockwave shattered the curse. The lingering spirits wailed, their moans fading into the damp mist. The light swept through every crevice, making the stone carvings of river gods gleam vividly. In a flash, the ancient curse crumbled. Maya, with all her strength, lifted the gem higher, whispering a prayer for the power of maternal love. May the river awaken, protect my children's peace. The soft green light struck the temple's vaulted ceiling, bursting into brilliance like diamonds glinting in Thelira's hair. The curse's marks on the twins, hidden beneath their skin, dissolved into dust. Maya felt her body sway, warmth draining from her like leaves in the wind. Her legs buckled, her vision blurred. Yet a fulfilled smile spread across her face as the truth settled. Her children were free from the deadly curse, and the river had accepted her maternal sacrifice. But the calm was fleeting. Clyde, realizing his defeat, let out a crazed laugh and lunged beyond the light's barrier. He tore open the spellbook, demonic runes swirling into the air, summoning the last unvanished spirits. His eyes burned with hatred, his lips trembling with a vow. "Foolish Maya, you think bowing to the Mississippi is enough to stop me? I'll end your life and those cursed brats." With that, he bolted from the temple, leaving a trail of murky black mist that triggered countless small stones to scatter across the floor. All night, Maya teetered by the altar, the green light fading, her body frail like a candle near its end. Theira swiftly pressed a hand to her chest, channeling a final surge of vitality to keep Maya from collapsing. The river's waves outside the temple hummed softly, a faint comfort unable to erase the bitterness of the dimming glow. Maya trembled, leaning against the stone wall, her eyes heavy with sorrow. The twins slept peacefully, unaware of the harrowing confrontation just ended. As the green light waned, Maya clutched the gem to her heart, reclaiming a sliver of warmth. She knew the cost was her depleted strength, that the path ahead would be grueling. But in her heart, hope flared. She whispered into the dim void, "I've broken the curse for you, and I won't let anyone steal your future." Theira nodded, her black hair falling gently, her eyes brimming with fierce faith. The water outside the temple calmed, its waves lapping like a soothing melody. Maya guided her twins to the submerged threshold, placing them on a slick wooden plank. The air remained still, filled only with Theira's soft sigh and Maya's ragged breaths. They exchanged a glance, no words needed, both understanding the first battle was over, but the true challenge awaited beyond the shore. Clyde, his heart steeped in curses, lurked in the darkness, biding time for revenge. But Maya, the mother who'd sacrificed her strength to absolve her children, would rise, wielding maternal love and the Mississippi's magic to protect her precious twins, even if the cost was her own life. The raging waters surged like a vengeful deity, reaching the first rooftops of the village, sweeping away gardens and toppling bamboo fences. The flood turned ferocious, submerging half the village in a grey, murky deluge. Screams of panic echoed everywhere. Cattle swam desperately in the current, elders clung to houseposts, and children wailed in their sweat-soaked parents' arms. Fearful eyes gleamed on faces once warm, now cold and restless. As the water rose, instead of uniting to fight, the villagers blamed Maya and her twins. Those pearl-like eyes had awakened a curse, provoked the gods' wrath, and forced the Mississippi to unleash its fury. Rumors spread like wildfire in the wind. Maya sold her soul to demons birthing two-faced devils. Those twins are silt-born fiends, stirring the flood into a frenzy. A mob gathered before her thatched home, barefoot in muddy water, pointing and cursing. A silver-haired man challenged Maya, his voice sharp. "How many lives must pay for these demons?" The piercing jeers shattered her heart, but she refused to let pain rule her. Instead, she shielded her twins' radiant eyes, watching them sleep peacefully despite the chaos around them. In that raging flood, Theira, the mermaid of the river's heart, appeared beside Maya, emanating a faint green glow. Invisible to the villagers, only Maya saw her delicate form, her long hair shimmering with a halo that flowed with the water. Theira placed a cold hand on Maya's shoulder, granting her calm amid the turmoil. She pointed the way, take the twins to the heart of the submerged temple, where the Mississippi's magical pulse converged. There the final secret would be revealed. Maya carried her twins, wading through thick, silty water, following the underwater path that once led her to truth. Each step was heavy, the icy stone beneath the flood sharp, as if pulling her deeper into the deluge. But maternal love made her stronger than any flood. As they reached the central chamber on the submerged stone altar, the twins seemed to awaken, their gleaming eyes fearless, locking onto Theira's green light. Those eyes carried a message. "Mother, you've come to the right place." The temple's heart was its most mystical space, where mossy stones bore carvings of mighty river gods. The walls glowed with scenes of the tide god wielding silty waves, the silt god sowing seeds in barren fields. At the altar's center, a small stream flowed from the wall into a shallow basin, evoking the Mississippi's lifeblood. Theira's soft voice revealed that the twins were no ordinary children. They were offspring of the river god, born to protect this land from ruin. The sacred tide had infused their blood at birth during the storm, granting them the power to command silty waters and divine forces. Maya's heart surged. An ancient temple prophecy spoke of the two pearl eyes of the river, children destined to balance survival and destruction. They could halt the flood, but their power would only awaken if the community believed and accepted them. If the villagers clung to curses and hatred, the magic would flicker out like a candle in the wind. Maya now understood. Not only she, but the entire village had to shift their faith, placing hope in maternal love and the Mississippi's magic. In the dim temple chamber, Maya sat cross-legged on the altar, placing her twins before her. Theira taught her the final ritual. Take a drop of sacred silt water, anoint the children, and swear a vow of protection. Maya's trembling hands caught the mist rising from the silt basin, collecting 3 drops in her palm, one for her son's forehead, one for her daughter's, and the last for her own spirit. The final drop fell to her heart, stopping it for a moment, then igniting a wave of warmth. The drop's light merged with Theira's green glow, flooding the chamber with radiance. The surrounding stones seemed to tremble, faint cracks parting to release shimmering silver streams. The sacred pulse roared awake, rumbling through the river's depths, rising to meet Maya and her twins. The twins' pearl eyes blazed brighter, their light bursting like divine torches, piercing the night and banishing the curse's dark mist. For the first time, a resonant hum of waves rose like a victorious symphony. Each wave struck the temple walls, shaking its structure. But instead of crumbling, it sealed the vow. The river had chosen Maya and her children, blessing them. Maya felt warmth spread through her, divine strength overcoming exhaustion. She clutched her twins, kneeling on the stone floor, whispering a prayer. I won't let fear divide our community. Help me protect this land. Outside, the floodwaters seemed to reverse, slowly receding from rooftops and sandy shores. Submerged homes resurfaced, drowned trees revealed their roots. A faint dawn broke, its light filtering through the temple's stone cracks, casting warm golden rays. Maya felt peace return, as if the village had never been threatened. Her twins, stirring in their sleep, smiled faintly, their pearl eyes still radiant with hope. But Theira's voice echoed in her mind. Their power endures only if the community accepts. You've given them strength, but if they don't believe, you'll lose the light. Maya wiped weary tears, rising with her twins, wading through muddy waters past stunned villagers. She met their gazes, shock, remorse, fear. Steadfast, she stepped before the crowd, lifting her twins high. Dawnlight gleamed through her hair, kindling faith in their radiant eyes. Her voice rang, brief but powerful. These are our children, children of the Mississippi. They were born to save the village, not destroy. Trust in them, and together we'll stop any storm. The villagers seemed spellbound, their lips falling silent, their eyes softening. They stepped closer, bowing before Maya and her twins, their remorse palpable. The community's breath steadied, the river's murmurs blending with the whispers. They're the river's emissaries, our hope. Elders quietly removed their headscarves, clasping hands in reverence, acknowledging the sacred power. With each word of trust, the twins' pearl eyes shone brighter, absorbing fear and dispelling the gloom. As the sun fully rose, the flood vanished. The village glowed in the new day's light, its temple peeking through storm-torn fields. Maya sat by the shore, cradling her twins in their wickerbud's basket, a gentle smile on her lips. She knew she'd risked everything. Her life, her faith, her hope, for her twins and the community. But with priceless maternal love and the river god's power, she believed the future would be safe. The Mississippi lay quiet, as if listening to the heartbeat of Maya and her children, responding with soft ripples, affirming that magic had been reborn, and the village would forever be blessed by the river's sacred offspring. The churning waters, sweeping away silt amassed through the dry season, now turned fiercer than ever. Maya, her shoulders trembling under the weight of her 2 tiny infants, stepped steadfastly through deep, muddy pools. The faint dawn light shimmered on the waves, pausing at the riverbank as if forming a rippling mirror to to guide the mother and her children to the river's narrowest dominion. There the water rose like a colossal basin, roiling with ferocity, assaulting the village's first wooden houses, toppling rotten bamboo fences, and transforming humble dirt paths into frothy, silt-laden channels. Panicked villagers gathered on the shore, their silhouettes flickering in the wavering light. They shouted, waved blankets, and hurled debris into the current, as if signaling Maya to stop. Yet none dared approach, gripped by rumors painting the twins as cursed monsters, with pearl eyes that would bring ruin to the community. Angry jeers mingled with children's cries, amplifying the chaos. The relentless water surged, snapping ancient tree branches, ravaging gardens, and drowning every trace of peace. Amid the flood, Maya took a deep breath, as if attuning to the river's furious pulse. The twins, serene in their woven basket, their eyes gleaming like radiant pearls against the murky water. Maya paused, setting the basket into the current, letting it drift toward the river's heart. The water rocked the basket, carrying the twins to the deepest, most turbulent point. There she halted, lifting her face to the low clouds, her heart filled with unshakable faith. The moment she released the basket, it swayed and dipped, the infants like butterflies unfurling wings in a muddy tempest. They surfaced, their innocent faces raised, their pearl eyes blazing across the water. Those eyes didn't merely reflect the rising sun's light through the mist. They radiated a spreading halo, taming the flood's wrath, slowing the relentless waves behind a veil of silt. At that moment, Clyde, the sower of the dark curse, emerged on a submerged bank, his face twisted in madness. He raised a defiant hand, his shouts like daggers in Maya's ears. But his cries were drowned by the twins' radiant gaze. Everything seemed to hush as the water began to recede, sighing softly. Clyde, enraged, lunged into the river, aiming to snatch the infants from their mother. He clawed at the basket, water frothing around him, but before he could touch it, the blinding pearl light from the twins' eyes hurled him back to the shore. Two waves collided, pushing Clyde backward. He thrashed, water up to his waist, his face paling with regret and fear. His weakening screams faded into the returning silence. The pearl eyes flared once more, unleashing a gentle yet steadfast power. The river calmed, waves retreating to the banks, restoring the village's rooftops and fields. The water slowly withdrew from homes and bamboo groves, granting the villagers a breath of peace in the sultry midday heat. On the shore, the villagers stood stunned, awestruck by the miracle. Their gazes shifted from doubt to admiration. Those who'd hurled curses fell silent, as if waking from a dream. They saw Maya cradling her twins, her eyes like a lighthouse in the storm, and turned to the twins, whose pearl eyes guided them through the murky deluge. The community, overcome with remorse for their wrongful shunning, wept silently, offering clumsy but sincere prayers. They sought forgiveness from the river and the courageous mother. Clyde, overwhelmed by the river god's power, collapsed, falling face first into the water. He grasped at a tree trunk, but the receding current swept him away. A faint scream broke off. The water carried his dark figure away, and as the final wave closed, no trace of his menace remained. Clyde vanished, like a nightmare dispelled by the pearl light. In the restored calm, Maya gently lifted her twins, cradling them close. Their pearl eyes now glowed with serenity, reflecting Theira's green hair, faintly visible at the scene's edge. Maya closed her eyes, smiling, feeling her twins' heartbeats sync with her own. She knew the miracle stemmed from maternal love, entwined with the river's power. From the tranquil water, Theira emerged, her form delicate as mist, her glossy black hair draping the surface, radiating a faint green aura. Wordless, she raised a pearlescent hand, her eyes brimming with pride and solace for Maya. Theira nodded, affirming, the twins were the Mississippi's sacred gift, not mere humans, but children of the river god. Born to shield this land from curses and calamity, she glided away, leaving a whisper. Maya, you are a heroic mother. Your children are emissaries of peace. The villagers approached, bowing before Maya, then each child murmuring thanks and apologies. They surrounded the family, hearts swelling with respect and remorse. Late afternoon sunlight peeked through waterlogged bamboo, painting a harmonious scene of land and water, human and nature. The Mississippi, after its tempest, returned to calm, but the tale of the pearl eyes of the river twins and their heroic mother Maya would echo forever, woven into the legend of the small village by the silty shore, where maternal love and the river god's power intertwined eternally. The first rays of sunlight pierced the thin mist, glinting on the tranquil waters by the Mississippi's banks, where Maya stood cradling her twins before a crowd that had once shunned her. The flood had receded, restoring peace to the thatched homes and bamboo walls, a serenity thought lost forever. Before the villagers, the two tiny beings, their pearl-like eyes no longer shadowed by curses, radiated a gentle, warm light, like dawn rising from the ocean's heart. The people gazed at the girl and boy, their hearts swelling with awe and regret. Women and men approached Maya with trembling steps, their shaky hands resting on her shoulders. The silver-haired man, his face etched with hardship, knelt silently, pressing his palms into the mud at her feet, bowing in apology. Then came the elderly women, eyes red with tears, softly weeping. They confessed that in nights filled with superstition, fear had blinded them, driving Maya to despair. Now faced with undeniable miracles, they realized their grave mistake. They bowed, pleading for Maya's forgiveness, vowing to protect the two infants, the light of the Mississippi, as atonement for their wrongs. Maya nodded gently, her eyes shimmering like gems, radiating profound forgiveness. She stooped, tenderly setting her twins on the wet mud, then opened her arms to embrace the community. The villagers hurried to kneel, tears mingling with silt on their cheeks, swearing to shield Maya and her twins, never again letting malice or superstition divide their bond. For the first time, a collective prayer rose into the vast air, a plea for the river god's blessing, for the village's peace. Before the song of peace could fade, a soft wave stirred from the river's depths, carrying a fleeting vision. Theira appeared, her slender form draped in flowing black hair that merged with the water, her deep eyes holding millennia of sorrow and hope. The mermaid needed no greeting. The air stilled, every breath paused. A warm breeze carried the earthy scent of silt mixed with the briny tang of river and sea. The villagers turned, awestruck by the legendary being tied to ancient tales. Theira nodded slowly. Her steps touched the water, sending gentle ripples to lap at the rocky shore. She lifted her piercing eyes, seeing past and future, first to Maya, then to the twins. The space brimmed with sacred emotion as her voice echoed like a call from the river's depths. These children are not merely human souls. They are reborn from the Mississippi's bloodline. They are the river's gift, symbols of hope and rebirth. The silty waters chose them, granting them power to protect this land from all dangers. Maya's breath caught, her heart racing at the proclamation. The villagers stepped back, leaving a sacred space for Maya, her twins, and Theira. Morning sunlight filtered through the villagers' weathered clothes, casting a warm, encouraging glow. Theira continued, "But heed the ancient prophecy. The power of the light of the Mississippi is only the beginning. A greater force, deeper than this river, stirs in the ancient silt's refuge. You, Maya, must prepare your soul and body, for the next trial will be harder than any flood." Her words rang like a bell through the mist. Maya lowered her head, tasting the salt of river water lingering on her lashes, blending with her tears. Her hands tightened around her children's clothes, as if anchoring their fragile breaths, their tender heartbeats. Thoughts of the future flooded her mind, but didn't waver her resolve. Maternal love had forged in her an unbreakable strength, and she knew nothing could shatter that spirit. The sandy village, fragrant with silt, now lay quiet, filled only with the rustle of leaves and the river's soft pulse. Maya knelt beside her twins, stroking their sweat-dampened hair, whispering a vow needing no lengthy words. "I'll always be with you. Through any storm, against any foe that awakens, I'll fight to protect you." The twins, their innocent faces bright with radiant eyes, gave a faint smile, as if answering her pledge. Under Theira's lingering shadow, Maya rose, lifting her twins. The mermaid watched silently, her green aura pulsing with gentle waves. The villagers, with utmost care, approached, supporting the family, forming a protective circle. Whispers of joy rose. "They're ours, the light of the Mississippi." Those words echoed like a vow never to abandon. The sun blazed, painting a glistening rainbow across the post-rain sky. Maya, though exhausted, glowed with faith. She held her twins close, stepping to higher ground where sparse grass grew. The scene etched itself into witnesses' hearts. A courageous mother by the silty river, beside two children with divine light, facing a community awakened from superstition, united toward the future. Yet Theira's prophecy lingered. The true challenge will come from the depths, when an ancient enemy awakens. Maya breathed deeply, meeting her twins' radiant eyes, then glancing at her weathered boat by the muddy shore. Traces of the recent battle remained under fresh silt. Insects buzzed, birds returned to sing in treetops. All signaled a new cycle's start. Maya closed her eyes, feeling the river's power rise with her children's heartbeats. She knew her mission wasn't over, but had only begun a new chapter. With unyielding spirit and sacred maternal love, she swore before the Mississippi and Theira to protect the light of the Mississippi, two beings born to save this land. Under the silty breeze's caress, her vow rang as both challenge and promise, heralding a grand journey ahead, where love and hope would once more confront the awakening darkness. The first rays of dawn slipped through the thin mist, casting light on the tranquil waters by the Mississippi's edge, where Maya stood cradling her twins before a crowd that had once shunned her. The flood had receded, restoring peace to the thatched homes and bamboo walls, a serenity thought lost forever. Before the villagers, the two tiny beings, their pearl-like eyes, no longer shadowed by curses, radiated a gentle, warm glow, like sunrise in the ocean's heart. The people gazed at the girl and boy, their hearts swelling with awe and remorse. Women and men approached Maya with trembling steps, their shaky hands resting on her shoulders. The silver-haired man, his face etched with hardship, knelt silently, pressing his palms into the mud at her feet, bowing in apology. Elderly women followed, eyes red with tears, softly weeping. They confessed that in nights gripped by superstition, fear had blinded them, driving Maya to despair. Now faced with undeniable miracles, they realized their grave mistake. They bowed, pleading for Maya's forgiveness, vowing to protect the two infants, the light of the Mississippi, as atonement for their wrongs. Maya nodded gently, her eyes shimmering like gems, radiating profound forgiveness. She stooped, tenderly setting her twins on the wet mud, then opened her arms to embrace the community. The villagers knelt swiftly, tears mingling with silt on their cheeks, swearing to shield Maya and her twins, never again letting malice or superstition divide their bond. For the first time, a collective prayer rose into the vast air, a plea for the river god's blessing, for the village's peace. Before the song of peace faded, a soft wave stirred from the river's depths, carrying a fleeting vision. Theira appeared, her slender form draped in flowing black hair that merged with the water, her deep eyes holding millennia of sorrow and hope. The mermaid needed no greeting. The air stilled, every breath paused. A warm breeze carried the earthy scent of silt, mixed with the briny tang of river and sea. The villagers turned, awestruck by the legendary being tied to ancient tales. Theira nodded slowly. Her steps touched the water, sending gentle ripples to lap at the rocky shore. She lifted her piercing eyes, seeing past and future, first to Maya, then to the twins. The space brimmed with sacred emotion as her voice echoed like a call from the river's depths. These children are not merely human souls, they are reborn from the Mississippi's bloodline. They are the river's gift, symbols of hope and rebirth. The silty waters chose them, granting them power to protect this land from all dangers. Maya's breath caught, her heart racing at the proclamation. The villagers stepped back, leaving a sacred space for Maya, her twins, and Theira. Morning sunlight filtered through their weathered clothes, casting a warm, encouraging glow. Theira continued, "But heed the ancient prophecy. The power of the light of the Mississippi is only the beginning. A greater force, deeper than this river, stirs in the ancient silt's refuge. You, Maya, must prepare your soul and body, for the next trial will be harder than any flood." Her words rang like a bell through the mist. Maya bowed her head, tasting the salt of river water on her lashes blending with her tears. Her hands tightened around her children's clothes, as if anchoring their fragile breaths, their tender heartbeats. Thoughts of the future flooded her, but didn't shake her resolve. Maternal love had forged an unbreakable strength, and she knew nothing could break that spirit. The sandy village, fragrant with silt, lay quiet, filled only with rustling leaves and the river's soft pulse. Maya knelt beside her twins, stroking their sweat-dampened hair, whispering a vow needing no lengthy words. "I'll always be with you, through any storm, against any foe that awakens. I'll fight to protect you." The twins, their innocent faces bright with radiant eyes, smiled faintly, as if answering her pledge. Under Theira's lingering shadow, Maya rose, lifting her twins. The mermaid watched silently, her green aura pulsing with gentle waves. The villagers, with utmost care, approached, supporting the family, forming a protective circle. Whispers of joy rose. "They're ours, the light of the Mississippi." Those words echoed like a vow, never to abandon. The sun blazed, painting a glistening rainbow across the post-rain sky. Maya, though exhausted, glowed with faith. She held her twins close, stepping to higher ground where sparse grass grew. The scene etched itself into witnesses' hearts, a courageous mother by the silty river, beside two children with divine light, facing a community awakened from superstition, united towards the future. Yet Theira's prophecy lingered. The true challenge will come from the depths, when an ancient enemy awakens. Maya breathed deeply, meeting her twins' radiant eyes, then glancing at her weathered boat by the muddy shore. Traces of the recent battle remained under fresh silt. Insects buzzed, birds sang in treetops, signaling a new cycle's start. Maya closed her eyes, feeling the river's power rise with her children's heartbeats. She knew her mission wasn't over, but had begun a new chapter. With unyielding spirit and sacred maternal love, she swore before the Mississippi and Theira to protect the light of the Mississippi, two beings born to save this land. Under the silty breeze's caress, her vow rang as both challenge and promise, heralding a grand journey ahead, where love and hope would once more confront the awakening darkness. And for you, dear audience, the story doesn't end here. If you've loved Maya's journey, the twins, Light of the Mississippi, and the legend of Theira, hit that subscribe button to catch the next chapter. Share this story with friends so they too can feel the wondrous power of faith and love. Don't forget to leave a comment telling me what you hope for in the next part of this adventure on the legendary river. Together we'll face the challenges, embrace the surprises, and keep the light of hope burning on this extraordinary journey along the mighty Mississippi.